Hello, Lego Mindstormers. What we're going to be doing today is we are going to be going through skills 1, distance rotations with NXT. And the first thing that you're going to be doing in this program is you guys are going to first be having to measure out the radius and diameter of your wheel. So let's say that this is your wheel that we've got right here. If we wanted to know what the radius was, what we're going to do is we're going to take a ruler and we are going to measure from the center of the circle. So let's say that the center is right here, or the center of our wheel, and you're going to measure from there to the outside of the wheel. That would be known as your radius. Then the diameter, that's going to be from one end of the circle, or one end of your wheel, to the other end. That's going to be known as the diameter distance, okay? And it's important that you measure both of these in centimeters. And the reason we're going to measure them in centimeters is because we're going to be programming our Lego NXT bots to travel 50 centimeters, not inches, so we want to keep everything the same. So in order to calculate the circumference, which is going to be the first thing that you have to do, we're going to want to take a look at our circumference formulas. In our circumference formulas, we've got C is equal to pi times your diameter. And this is the same thing as saying 2 pi r. So we can use either of these formulas. Let's just say for our work today, let's just say that we measured our diameter to be equal to, let's say, 4 centimeters. And again, this is not what your actual wheel's diameter is. You're going to have to measure that for your own. Let's say r, or our radius, would then be equal to 4 divided by 2. Since the radius is half the diameter, that would mean 2 centimeters. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to substitute into this formula. Now, let's remember that pi is a continuous number that's very long. Okay, for our sake, I'll allow you guys to just type in 3.14 into your guys' calculators. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's solve this. So we're going to plug our stuff in. So I'm going to use the pi d just because that's the more common formula. And we're going to plug in our values. Okay, so we're going to plug in pi, and we're going to plug in our diameter. So if we're going to plug these in, the first thing we're going to plug in pi. So we're going to plug in pi, which I just said was 3.14. Make sure we got that decimal there. Then I'm going to plug in our diameter, which is going to be 4 centimeters. So once we got that, then we can go ahead, we can punch this into our calculator, and that's going to then equal, so I'll pull up the calculator. So again, we're doing 3.14 multiplied by the 4 centimeters, and that's going to give us a total of 12.56. Now, this is still a distance, okay? So our answer is going to be 12.56 centimeters, okay? Because centimeters is what we've been using this whole time. Now, I'm going to clear up a little bit of space here, but we're going to remember that 12.56 centimeters, okay? Because the next thing we're going to do is going to take up some space. So, let's see here. Let's go ahead. We're going to erase some of our work here. So we got that 12.56 centimeters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the next formula, which this is specific to NXT. This is not necessary. This is more so unit analysis. And what we're going to end up getting here is we are going to have the, whoopsie, we are going to have the formula rotations is going to be equal to the distance that we want to travel divided by the circumference, which we've already calculated as 12.56 centimeters. Okay, and the reason that we're going to calculate the amount of rotations is that's what we're going to be programming into our NXT software. So if I go ahead, I'm going to plug everything in here. So again, I want to travel 50 centimeters. Whoops, not 56. So we're going to erase that quick. Okay, so we want to travel 50 centimeters. And then we're going to divide that, and I'm going to erase this just so we don't get confused. We're going to divide that by the 12.56 centimeters, which is our circumference. Okay, so if we do that, we're going to calculate our number of rotations. So we're going to say 50 divided by 12.56. That's going to give us a total of 3.98. I'm going to round. Okay, so what we're going to have here is we're going to have 3.98. Make sure you get that decimal. 3.98 rotations. Okay, and that's what we're going to use in order to plug in to our NXT software. So that's why we're going to click on this icon that's down here at the bottom of my screen. Okay, this is the Lego Mindstorms, and you can find this by searching in your Windows. You can search NXT, and it'll pop up NXT 2.1 programming. So once you get to this page, you're going to start a program. It's a good idea to keep it organized. So I'm going to name this one Skills 1. All right, I'm going to click Go. That's going to bring me to the work platform. Now, your job is to program your bot to move 50 centimeters. So I'm going to click in the move block. And when I do that, it's going to bring me down here, okay, where I can go ahead and I can click on these different icons in order to alter how far it's going to move, how fast it's going to move, what the power is, what ports we're using, whether it's going forwards or backwards. Okay, and down here you'll see where it says rotations, and that's where I'm going to use this 3.98 rotations. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug that in. Okay, so right here where it says rotations, I'm going to type in 3.98, and when I type that in, then that's going to give me that my wheels are going to turn 3.98 full rotations, and hopefully that means that they will travel 50 centimeters, or my bot will travel 50 centimeters. So once I do that, then I grab my USB cable, plug it into my USB of my computer, and then also into my bot, and then I click the download button. Now, when I click the download button here, since I'm not plugged into an NXT, it's not going to download. However, it will as long as you're plugged in, and once you do that, then you can go ahead and run your program, and it should go for 50 centimeters.